In 1989, I moved into an apartment in New York City. For those of you who are familiar with New York City or San Francisco, this will be important. It was a rent-stabilized apartment. Right? It was built in 1929, and my partner, my boyfriend, had lived in it since 1976. So it was great. It's on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's 2-bedroom, eating kitchen, full living, dining, foyer, 2 entrances, 24-hour doorman, and rent stabilized. But because it had been rent stabilized since 1929, the landlords have done practically nothing to the apartment for all those years. And when I walked into the apartment for the first time, the linoleum floor in the kitchen was half peeled up, and then someone stopped, decided it wasn't worth trying to get it up, it was too hard, the glue was too intense, and so then they painted over it with this bright blue paint, which then began to chip, revealing the terracotta linoleum underneath it and the bright blue paint. And my first week of living in there, one day, I got down on my hands and knees and started pulling it up and scraping it up and sanding it. And over the years that I lived in that apartment, I put in crown molding, or had put in crown molding. I put in new electrics, eventually put in a whole new kitchen, resanded every floor in the apartment, and invest tens of thousands of dollars on a rental apartment. And people look at me and we go, why? It's not yours. Well, I live there. It's mine. I pay the rent that is regulated every month. It's what I call home, and I want it to reflect me. I want it to be a reflection of what I value and the esteem I have in myself and in it. So either I can choose to fix it up, or I can choose to move on and get something else. So I went to a real estate agent. And she looked at me and we crunched all the numbers and we said, so should I buy something here in New York? And she looked at what I was paying in rent and she looked at what was available in the market and she said, you will pay more in maintenance for an apartment that you will buy than you will ever pay in rent for this apartment. Stay. So I did. And I continued to invest and to improve. That apartment still is in my life and JD's life. My niece lives in it in New York now, and Reverend Sonia actually is in it right now, staying while she's doing work with Unity of New York. So it stays in the family and it stays in the community. When they moved here to San Francisco, first we rented, but then we bought a home. And it was the first experience of me being a homeowner. Right? And as many of you who own your homes know, it's a very interesting, different kind of discernment process that you go through. Oh, I really want those hardwood floors. I really want those marble floors. Is it worth the investment? Right? Is this a good capital return for me? And again, it always boils back down to the question for me, this is where I'm going to be spending my time. This is where I'm going to be entertaining, where I'm going to be nesting, where I'm going to be getting recharged. What do I want to invest in that? What do I want to give to that place that nurtures me, sustains me, and shelters me? So that's my question for you today. What kind of landlord are you? What kind of homeowner are you? How are you investing in your own good, your own home, your own comfort and support and shelter? You know, there's lots of different ways that we do that we invest into things we care about, things that are important to us. You might notice it in some fanatical sports fans. I promise you these guys are invested in the Denver Broncos. Nobody goes through that without an investment, right? And what is the payoff for that? When you fully participate, when you go beyond what you think is normal or acceptable, and you dive in, whether it be into what you're investing in your house or what you're investing in this team, you're fully present. You're fully involved. You're not holding back on this thing we call life. You're giving it your all. And you receive the benefit. Not only everybody else who's taking pictures of these two, right? But have you known that, whether it be in your high school sports teams, or have you known it in your college teams, or your city's teams? When you fully participate, when you fully involve, there is nothing like it. I tell you, growing up in New Orleans for all those years with the Aints, when they finally won the Super Bowl, there was no feeling like it in the world. Right? I mean, here in San Francisco, we've got tons of really, really championship teams here all the time. But New Orleans was not the same story. But still, we showed up, and we were invested. I still have Saints gear to this day. How else do you invest in your life? You know, I have this idea, and it's my affirmation, I'm going to live to 100. Don't laugh, Gene. I'm going to live to 100, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to do. And so, on Tuesday, I had a doctor's appointment. Actually, it was Wednesday, because it came up on my schedule right at the time I was supposed to be there. It was like, oh! I run over to the doctor's appointment, and I get all my blood work, and he goes, well, your cholesterol. It's like, oh. Yeah, so, am I going to live to 100? What am I investing in my own care? How am I taking care of this body temple, this vehicle that I'm going to live to 100 in? Am I taking part in that process besides my affirmation? Besides saying I'm living to 100, am I doing stuff that's going to support that? What will I be like at 100? Right? How will this body be at 100? And so, for the last couple of days, I've been back in my yoga class. I've not been back at the gym. Alan and I work out together. But what I discovered in this process at the gym was that I do better in a team activity. In my discipline, in my life, when there's a room full of us and an instructor or a trainer saying, okay, you have to do this, okay, you have to do this, it works better for me. I like the structure, I like the community, I like the communal support. And again, I invite you to figure that out for yourself. How are you supporting your body? How are you supporting this temple that is carrying you right here today? And what works best for you in investing in ownership of that body? Right? It's a choice. It's a choice we get to make every day. What are you putting in your body? What foods? What are you denying your body? What exercise? What healthy things? Sunlight, air, breath. Those are all choices we make on how we want to invest and live. And then there's your city, right? Are you participating in your city? Do you vote? Right? Oh, there's one. Right? When I moved here, I still registered in New York because I only have the apartment in New York. And so for the first couple of years, until I moved my driver's license over here to California, I felt like I was in two different places. I was participating at Unity Palo Alto, I was fully immersed, I loved the city, but I was also split. Until I moved my driver's license and my voting and my community stuff here to San Francisco. And then I watched things change. So, do you know your neighbors? And your neighbors in San Francisco may be just the people in your building, right? There was a block party on my street yesterday. Lamai, my son, and I went across and met some neighbors that we'd never met before. Just because somebody had put a grill out on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden there was a celebration of the girl across the street turning 13. That kind of level of participation in your own life, your own community, is an investment in you. An investment in your home. Your home. There's also your relationships. Now, it may be your significant other. It may be your family of origin. It may be friends or co-workers. But that investment into people, into those relationships, those kind of relationships where you stay and you engage and you have the conversations no matter what, is ownership. Because those relationships are for you. Right? Even when they're difficult, even when they trigger you, even when they drive you crazy. They're for your own journey. So what are you investing in the relationships? Are you picking up the phone even when you say, "Oh, they haven't called me"? Pick up the phone. Call them. Spend time. The same with your job, your career, right? You may think, "Oh, well, the job is just what I go to get a paycheck so that I can live and pay my rent and live in that nice home, but I really don't have any investment in the job or the company." Well, how's that showing up for you? Right? How's that showing up in your relationship with your boss? If you're not invested in the company you're working for, if you don't believe in the job you're doing, do you think anyone else believes in you? Or are you showing up and doing more than what's expected in the job description? Are you giving more than what's expected to get the paycheck? Are you investing in making this company and yourself a success? Are you invested in transforming this situation into something that it always could be, but seldom is materialized? And then there's your spiritual life. You know, we all have a spiritual life. From when we're tiny to when we die. We have a spiritual life. Even if you pretend that you don't. Even if you're not aware of it. There is a spiritual life going on. And the spiritual life for me has nothing to do with that which shall not be named. That spiritual life for me has to do with this awareness that I am part of something bigger than myself. With this awareness that there is an energy that is moving through me and as me, that started cosmically millions and billions of years ago, and that I am participating in as I drive down this road called life. A spiritual life for me is the opportunity to wake up in the middle of everything that's going on and see it differently. You know, life may happen to you, and life may happen around you. But the most important thing is how you invest in your life, how you participate in your life, how you engage in this thing called life. Right? If we're going to look at, shift our conception and our understanding of the divine, perhaps if we look at life itself as the divine. Scientists look for proof of life on Mars. Well, guess what? Mars is life. Mars is part of the whole cosmic energy. Just because we can't see it moving and breathing and thinking doesn't mean that it's not part of this cosmic energy we call life. The very existence of material things is life. The absence of so-called material things is also life. You may hear scientists say that, well, you know, between the Earth and the Moon, there's just nothing. It's vast emptiness, and all the cosmos is all this dark nothingness. Well, how come then if you put a solar panel out in the middle of this dark nothingness, it gathers the energy of the sun? How come in this vast nothingness, a radio wave can transmit sound and can be picked up, and signals can be sent? Just because we can't see it, feel it, or touch it does not mean that it is not life itself. And what do you want to choose to participate in this spiritual life that you may not consciously understand, but that in every breath, in every moment, in every situation, we get to stand in and choose to have life. Not my life, not a life, not mine, but life itself is showing up for us in every moment. Life itself is here and now because you are here and now. And in that understanding, you can take ownership and say, I choose to invest in this. I choose to take this, and I buy in. I buy in to this journey. Can I get some buy-in on this journey of life itself? You witnessed today a group of people buying in to Unity San Francisco, stepping up and said, I am ready to take the next step to invest in this community and see it become all that I think it can be. This is the choice that they have made and that we all make in different ways, in different areas, and in different opportunities of life. Today, I challenge and offer to you to buy in, to stop sitting on the sidelines, but to get in and play the game in your home, in your relationships, in your careers, in your own spiritual journey, and in our collective spiritual journey here at Unity San Francisco. That's why I belong here, just like with my body and how I know that I work better in a group to take care of it. I know that on my spiritual journey, I work better in a group. And this, my spiritual family, my spiritual home, my spiritual community, not only do I have the privilege of leading it as your spiritual leader, I also invest in it. JD and I love to sit down and write tithe checks here, or to give things that are needed, or to volunteer our time. Because this is my home, and this is our lives. Our spiritual, emotional, physical, communal life. And for that understanding, for that opportunity, for that service, I offer to you. Are you ready to buy in? Let's take this to our time of meditation.
Breathing into that larger awareness. Breathing into that expansiveness. That greater community, a greater connection. Breathing into life. in all of its fullness, in all of its magnificence, in all of its grace, in all of its joy. Feeling the lightness, the effortlessness, the freedom, opening that heart space. Remembering we are multi-dimensional beings and allowing every dimension of your being to breathe, to be breathed. We are dropping down and we are rising up as together we drop into the silence. From this space, I invite you to open up wherever it is that you know you are called to participate in life more fully. Wherever it is in your life that you are being invited into that greater experience, internally say yes. Yes, I am willing. I am willing.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that there is.
All of life.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am